I'm joined now from Cumbria by the Liberal Democrat Party President, Tim Farron. Mr Farron, are you happy with an immigration crackdown, which critics say is essentially an exercise in racial profiling?
Well, I'm in favour of dealing with illegal immigration, not least because of the appalling links with the evils of human trafficking.
But are you in favour of the way it's being done?
In the last few days? Oh, certainly not, no. I mean, the way in which it's been done, particularly with the kind of stopping out people outside tube stations, supermarkets and on buses, and dealing with, for instance, the van that was out the other week. I mean, this is totally counterproductive. We'll catch just about nobody, so it's a waste of taxpayers' money.
And do you agree with critics who say it is racial profiling?
Well, I don't know whether it is or it isn't, but what I do know is that it's hugely divisive and offensive and stokes an atmosphere of fear amongst British communities that are from a range of different backgrounds. And what we want is work that will tackle illegal immigration. That means doing work at the borders, not on the buses.
Do I take it then that the Liberal Democrats didn't know anything about this, as you didn't seem to know anything about the go-home immigration ban either?
Well, I'm not a minister, but I can tell you that these were things which were certainly news to me, and I'm appalled by them. I want to spend effective use of resources to ensure that we catch illegal immigrants and return them home appropriately. Or indeed, better than that, is to actually stop them at the border. And it seems ludicrous that we're spending time doing sensationalist things that will achieve nothing when that money should be spent at the border.
Do you think, then, that these stop-and-check operations should stop now until they've been better thought through?
Well, I want intelligence-led, evidence-based.
Well, the government says, your government says this is intelligence-led.
Well, it clearly isn't, because it's not catching anybody. What we need to do is make sure we prevent people getting in here in the first place, and that we work to do it in a way which is sensitive and appropriate. We're doing nothing of any value at all if we then create fear and division amongst communities that have every right to be here and indeed are British.
So do you think...
at the same time, do no good by actually returning anybody who's here illegally.
So it's doing absolutely no good. It's creating division. It's racially divisive. Do you now want the government, of which you are part, to stop this until it's, and pursue a different approach?
Yes, I want them to do things that are effective. I want them to use taxpayers' money in a way that removes illegal immigrants in a fair and appropriate way, and which doesn't create division in our local communities, and at the same time isn't adding to an unfortunate reputation this country has overseas now of being somewhat beneath its own standards.
Is it your view, is it your suspicion that this has indeed come from Linton Crosby?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, it all stacks up, doesn't it?
Sorry, Mr Fallon, but you don't seem to know a great deal in terms of where it's come from, who's agreed it.
Well, you asked me that I had suspicions. I have suspicions, and my suspicions are simply that, the Conservative Party are in a desperate position where I think they feel that they can't win another general election on their own, just like they didn't do last time, and they're doing what they did in the early part of the last decade and trying to go for their kind of core vote and playing to the mean-spiritedness that exists amongst a very small minority of people. What we want to achieve, surely, is a immigration policy which is tough and
Tim Farron, we've got to leave it there.
Traditionally British.
Thank you very much for joining us. Krishnan.